Hi guys, welcome to the Rule of Two, where the Star Wars news saga continues. I'm Terrence, and I'm back to go over another episode of Mandalorian, this time episode 4 of season 3. This one was kind of our shortest episode so far this season, and the midway point for the season itself. Now, last week I went ahead and just kind of talked about the points that really kind of stood out to me. This week I want to kind of do that again because I got a lot of questions. A lot of questions. All right, so first thing that this episode starts off with is it kind of shows you more what the day-to-day life is for Mandalorians. And that consists of training, like all day long training. Training, fighting, battling. That's all they do in the Mandalorians in the Mandalorian lifestyle. So much so that they actually have the children start their training at a young age, which kind of brings us back to Grogu himself, who has been considered to be a foundling and must start that same training. So I thought it was a great thing that they actually went back to that. We see him get the chainmail in the Book of Boba Fett when he was with Luke, and now we're actually together with the rest of the Watch and kind of see how he has to go through the training as a foundling. This consists of him doing 300 style battle royale, or not battle royales, but 300 style battles against another child to determine who's best. And we get to see more of a motherly figure in Bo-Katan, where she's actually helping him get on his little dart gun, which was like, I guess it was more like the whistling birds that he used in like the first season. I think he also used in the second season too. But that we get to see how they learn how to use that, and their challenge is going to be with that. Now, we do know that basically Grogu is struggling with the Force. So even though that they started off where it seemed like he wasn't prepared or ready for this, those Force powers kicked in, and the training that he got from Luke actually helped him win the day. Now, this battle was against Paz Vizsla's son, which is surprising because it made me have a thought. How do the Mandalorians procreate? I mean, look, if you guys are both a part of this subsect of the Mandalorians, the Watch, your whole thing is that you can't take your helmet off. So how does that work? I mean, I understand the rest of the stuff can come off, but it really ruins a bunch of intimacy. So it made me think, are they now just maybe mating with people outside of the Watch, where they may hide the fact that they've shown their face, or maybe procreate with somebody outside of the Watch and then take that child back as their own and then raise them under the creed? It did leave a lot of questions with that, and I know that there's probably like some deviant art or some fan fiction or hentai out there that actually may depict it. I may or may not post that to this particular video, but I kind of wanted to know your guys' thoughts about it. And we're gonna circle back to this in a second. The other thing that I was taken away from in this episode is that we got to see more of how they respect and look up to Bo-Katan's character. So much so that after that training session ended, Paz Vizsla's son was snatched away by this winged monster, or this winged creature, and then flown off. And then they had to form a search party to retrieve the child back, the foundling back. And this was led by Bo-Katan, because she has the only one that had the ship, and their jetpacks didn't have enough fuel to make it all the way out to where the actual creature was. So she leads the party. They get to the nest, and we find out that the creature has babies herself, something like that. And she's looking to feed, which it seems that there were other helmets in the nest. She's feeding all of the Mandalorians to the actual baby creatures. Now, obviously the rescue scene ensues. The Mandalorian catches the falling foundling. They help defeat the winged creature who was eaten by another creature, and that just seems to be a Star Wars thing where one creature always gets eaten by a bigger creature. Just kind of one of those things. But when going back, they kind of like honor Bo-Katan. So it really kind of shows me like, hey, she has earning a special place in the Watch, and her connection to it is really, really growing stronger. During the battle, she does lose a shoulder pauldron, and the armorer notices that and says that, hey, we need to fix your armor. While there, the armorer asks if she wants to have another night owl sigil put on the shoulder pauldron. She decides to go with the mythosaur because she's actually seen one. Now, is that setting up or foreshadowing because of her growing in the eyes of the watch and the way the armorer said, hey, the mythosaur sigil is available for all Mandalorians, no matter what faction you're from? Is it setting up the fact that this is her sign that she will once again be the new ruler of whatever they decide to call New Mandalore? Is that setting that up? Will she now bring all the factions together as one? Or is it setting up a sense where, just like in the book of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett kind of trained and rode a Rancor, will she now ride the mythosaur later on in the season? Now, at halfway point, that's normally when the season kind of picks up, so I'm expecting something big, and if it was her riding the mythosaur, that would be awesome, though not as awesome because we just saw Boba Fett ride the Rancor. Now, with that being said, Bo-Katan actually makes a comment about the fact that since the mom had died, they brought back the babies, the winged creature babies back, and they're now newly foundlings. Thinking about back to the Rancor and the fact that the Mandalorian actually have a thing for taming and riding beasts, will these new things be their kind of like winged dragons, if we want to kind of quote Game of Thrones, going forward? But it also brings me to a question. Are all foundlings actually children of fallen soldiers that the Mandalorian have had battle with? Now, I brought up the question like, how do they procreate? Now, most of the people there are all foundlings, but Paz Vizsla actually has his very own son. Though, Mando actually has called Grogu his son, so it's really kind of up in the air as far as how that relationship works. But if everybody's a foundling, and every time I've seen them rescue foundlings, it's always in battle. So is this the way that this is the way that they replenish their ranks just by taking the children of fallen soldiers in battle? Or are they truly rescuing these kids? Because now with that thought process of the winged creatures, it makes me really think that they're going to battle for over some particular reason. And if there's children left behind, they will adopt those children, which seems good in one sense, but also bad in the other, because you took these kids' parents away from them. And how do they feel like that being foundlings? Maybe that's kind of the thing where it created the factions of how they view things. Now, those were my thoughts as far as the main story of the episode itself. But there was one big thing that does happen in the episode, and that is when we got to see more of what happened during Order 66 when Grogu was rescued. We kept seeing that there was a battle where he was kept inside of a temple, and we saw Jedi fall from the stormtroopers. But it doesn't really say who got him out. Lo and behold, we get one of the best cameos that we can get out of this season, with it not being Samuel Jackson. We actually get to see the Jedi who actually rescues Grogu, and it turns out to be Ahmed Best, who actually was the body double for Jar Jar Binks, which is really, really cool. He's actually playing a Jedi named Kelleran Beck, which is awesome, because this was a great way to redeem this particular actor, because he got a lot of flack to playing Jar Jar Binks, and everybody hated the character, and it was quasi-racist. But he gets another shot of really kind of shining in Star Wars lore. He is the one that rescues Grogu and kind of gets him off to safety, which was awesome. I mean, but if I wanted a black bald guy to be a Jedi and rescue Grogu, it was going to be Mace Windu. I mean, look, this was the perfect opportunity for them to bring Mace Windu back. And I know I said before in season 2, when Luke comes and saves the day, that should have been an opportunity for them to bring Mace back to kind of close that loop. But I'll be okay with it. It was great seeing Luke on screen again. And then it would also kind of deal with the fact that he's being trained. So I understand the fact that maybe they didn't want to do Mace there. But this was the point for them to do Mace, because that would explain if they have him save Grogu. He was still in Coruscant at the time. Maybe he's hurt and he knows that Grogu's there and he was like, I gotta get you out. And then we see him fall for the very last time, giving closure to the character to where we can absolutely say that he has met his demise, but he did it in a way where he was actually doing his last bit of duty. And then we can explain why Grogu wasn't trained and why Luke had to train him a little bit. But we got a full circle situation going on there. Now, I know this is just mid-season. They could still bring up Mace later on, but I don't want them to bring him up too late, because then it puts too much of a thing as far as why he wasn't present in the sequel trilogy. I want something kind of short and finale to just wrap up his character, something on a high note like saving Grogu. But that could be maybe they're whisking him away to go meet Mace, and maybe there's another battle that happens where we actually see Mace's full demise. All right, so those are my takeaways from episode 4 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. I liked last time where I got to really kind of talk with some of you guys in the comments below. Please make sure you share some of your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Tell me your weird, twisted fantasies and dreams about like how the Mandalorians... But if this is the first time that you're on the channel, make sure you subscribe as well as click the notification button so that way you're aware of all the other videos that we do on the channel. And like I said, we're going to be doing these every week. So next week I'll be back on episode 5, hopefully barring no problems. Last week I had some audio issues, but we'll make sure we get them worked out this time. So with that being said, may the Force be with you. Always.
Wait, guys, are you still here? I'm glad you're still here. All right, so if you look down, I mean, it's somewhere over here. Look down. We actually have a Patreon. So if you guys watch the show and you really like what we want to do and you want to help support the show and you want to help me get an editor so I can get to sleep at night because I'm really tired and you guys see all my mistakes in the episodes. So please go to patreon.com/thegoods. Give us a penny, give us a nickel, give us $1.
Just don't give us the finger.
Don't do that. But make sure you do donate something because we do have some giveaways. There's posters, there's t-shirts.
I'll sign something for you.
Exactly. So take a look, guys, and help us out. We appreciate it.